We are hanging out at Sait Culinary Campus with Chef Bruno, whipping up a tasty soup today. What are we making again, the final product?
Well, we're gonna make a chicken broth to start with, and then we're gonna turn that chicken broth into a stracciatella soup.
Yeah.
But first, we're gonna be making the broth.
Okay, so what are the main ingredients in the chicken broth?
Basically, chicken broth, you need your chicken bones.
Yeah.
So they need to be rinsed and clean.
Does it matter if it's white meat, dark meat?
No, yeah, the whole chicken doesn't matter.
Okay.
As long as you rinse the bone in fresh water until the water comes clear, you don't want to, have blood and all those impurities in there.
Okay.
Then we're gonna use,
clean.
yeah, exactly. Then we're gonna be making a mirepoix. So basically, it's carrot, onion, and celery.
Okay.
That's gonna go in the broth to basically flavor it. And we're also gonna make a little bouquet garni, which is, composed of thyme, bay leaves, parsley, and we're gonna wrap it into a piece of leek, so that way it's easy to tie up together, and you can retrieve it after when you make soups or sauces. So if you want, I'll get you to cutting, those. So like.
Is there a trick?
No, just cut those in half. That's great. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Let's put the towel underneath so your board doesn't slide.
Straight down the middle?
Yeah, just right down the middle, and then you cut them in about
like this?
Yeah, an inch long, exactly. Same thing with the celery. And then while you do that, we're gonna be making the bouquet garni.
What is it called again?
Bouquet garni.
Bouquet Garni.
So bouquet means basically like bundle.
Yeah.
And garni, it means, in French garnish. So it's basically a little bundles of herb, and that basically flavors your soups, sauces, and stock. And exactly, you infuse it kind of like a tea bag.
Ooh.
It infuses its flavor into the sauce or the soup.
Look how I cut these carrots like a pro.
You're doing very well. I can see you've done knife skills before.
No, I haven't actually. Yeah.
Well, we do knife skill classes, so you can take a class with us at Sait.
I should. Although I am cutting these pretty good. So how long would you you throw all these ingredients in a different pot, and how long would you let them simmer and
basically what we do, we're gonna put some cold water. So you want to start your stock with cold water. Okay, until the bones are covered, basically. Just about a couple inches above the bones, and bring that to a boil. Okay? So we have one already here that's boiling. Yeah. Because we don't want to wait for this one to go.
And how long do you let it boil for? You were saying it's quite a process, right?
You want to bring it to a boil before you add the vegetables. And the reason being, as you can see, there's a lot of impurities. See that gray foam forming on top?
The goo, as I would call it?
Exactly, yeah. It's basically all the impurities coming up to the surface.
Okay.
Okay, so we want to skim all that and remove all that stuff before we add our vegetables. Because if you don't do that, your broth is not gonna be nice and clear. Okay. You're gonna have a cloudy and foggy looking chicken broth. So we want to get rid.
The best.
Exactly. You want it to be nice and clear color.
Okay, so coming up in our next segment, once the broth is all boiled through the magic of television, we're going to add it to the soup. Is that correct?
Well, we're going to turn the broth into the soup. So we're going to add the eggs. So right now we can now that it's boiling and we cleaned it, we can add our vegetables. So
you just kind of let that all simmer.
Exactly, and you let that simmer for about 2 to 3 hours, depending how much strength and flavor you want.
Some pop
and then we put our little bouquet garni in there. And you want it to simmer. You don't want it to be going like really strong, like a rolling boil.
That would make your house smell amazing too.
Oh, it does, yeah, absolutely.
All right, coming up, we're gonna put everything together and show you the final product and do a little taste tour, a taste test that is, with Chef Bruno down here again at Sait Culinary Campus. We are whipping up tasty soup down here with Chef Bruno at Sait's Culinary Campus. So in the first segment, we chopped the vegetables. Which were the main ingredients again? Let's just do a quick recap.
Carrot, onion, celery, a little bouquet garni, and then we made a chicken broth with the bones, which is simmering right now.
And make sure your bones are clean.
Bones are clean and rinsed,
So what's the next step in our process?
The next step now, we're taking the chicken broth that we made. So we have one here that's finished, ready to go.
So that's what it looks like.
So that's the chicken broth right now cooking, and we have one here that's already been strained and that's finished. So we're just bringing it to a simmer. And we're gonna make a classic Italian soup called a stracciatella.
Stracciatella.
So basically it's an egg drop soup, and apparently in Italy it's served Easter at lunchtime.
Really?
So basically I'll get you to grate a little bit of Parmesan here with the microplane.
Okay.
I will crack a few eggs.
Woo! I love Parmesan, by the way. It's my favorite cheese. What are ingredients are we working as?
So the ingredients are eggs.
Okay.
We're gonna just whisk the egg like an omelet, basically.
Yeah.
We're gonna add a little bit of the Parmesan.
Am I doing this whole thing?
You're doing it very well. You're a natural.
Well, you know.
And then we're gonna add the Parmesan in the eggs.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, just put that in.
Dump it?
That's good, yeah. The whole thing, perfect. Then we're gonna add a little bit of parsley.
Okay.
You know, a nice pinch and a half.
Might I say that I can already smell that soup, and it smells delicious.
Yeah. All those
Or the broth.
vegetables
Yeah.
and the chicken bones. Yeah, it's got a very nice little pinch of salt. So salt, pepper, parsley, and we'll put a little squeeze of lemon juice.
Okay, just to give it that zing.
Exactly. And then we go to our pot.
Okay.
So we have to make sure that the broth is simmering when we add the eggs.
So how long after that process to this?
So basically the chicken stock will take 2 to 3 hours to cook.
Okay.
Okay, once it's cooked, you just basically strain everything so
Yeah.
you get rid of the bones and the vegetable, because by that time they will be way overcooked after 3 hours. And then of course you keep the broth.
Okay.
Don't do the other way around. All right. And then so you need your
backwards.
I've seen that done before. So we need the broth to simmer, otherwise the eggs won't cook. And then we're gonna drizzle the eggs right over the broth.
So don't just dump it in, drizzle it in.
Yeah, just drizzle it. And the eggs will cook. And stracciatella in Italian means shred.
Shred?
Yeah, so it looks like, you know, like shredded eggs, really, the texture.
Oh.
So we're gonna just bring that
How long do you do that for?
just a few seconds. The eggs are just pretty much cooked here already. We'll just bring that back to a simmer.
Okay. Coming up in our next segment, actually, Chef Bruno, we're going to show the final product. And then what's the next thing we're making?
We're gonna make a squash bisque.
Squash bisque, also tasty. Earlier in the show, we showed you how to make what you're looking at right there, stracciatella soup. Is that right, Chef Bruno?
Right, that's
Can
right.
you say it again? You say it so much better.
Stracciatella.
Stracciatella. It's tasty. Again, if you want to learn how to make soup, you can check out Sait's website. They do have a soup cooking class. Do you know the date of it, the 17th?
Yeah, it's on the 17th of
Okay.
February. We're gonna learn how to make bisque and consommes.
Yum. And that's what we're making right now, right?
Right now we're making a squash bisque. Yeah, butternut squash bisque. That's right.
This looks like the Lip Disney character I was saying earlier in the show. All right, so what are the main ingredients?
So basically we're gonna process that squash first and we're gonna roast it so.
Okay, and is there a certain technique to cut
Yeah,
this?
wanna cut the woody part at the end here.
Yeah.
That way it'll be easier for the knife to go through.
Okay.
You've got that flat spot so it'll be stable on your cutting board.
Yeah.
And we're gonna split it in half. So like so. We're gonna scrape the seeds that are inside. So take a spoon, just scrape that cavity to remove all the seeds.
Do you use those for anything, or?
Yeah, you can use the seeds. Yeah, you can actually roast the seeds and use them to garnish the soup itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, and then what we would do is brush the squash
What
with
is
butter.
that, by the way?
So just melted butter. Give it a good little brush.
Just soak it.
Yeah, just all over. And then, you know, a little bit of extra butter there in the cavity. Okay.
Can't go wrong with butter.
Then you sprinkle your squash with a little salt and pepper to season it.
Okay.
Okay.
And again,
Nice.
eyeballing that, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just sprinkle it, you know, all over the surface.
Okay.
Okay, and then you place that on a roasting pan or a cookie sheet
Yeah.
in the oven at 450 for about an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay, and just let it bake.
Once it's nicely roasted,
Yeah.
comes out of the oven, nice and brown. So now,
And what should you line the pan with? That's just the wax?
yeah, a piece
Okay.
of parchment paper. It just
Okay.
makes it easy to clean the pan after.
Okay.
So what we would do right now is scrape that. Now that the squash is cooked,
Yeah.
we'll scrape the flesh out of the skin. So we're gonna start our bisque. We have our pot here. Okay, so we start with a hot pot, a little bit of olive oil. Okay. We're gonna put a little cube of butter,
More butter.
just a little cube. Butter give it that nice smooth flavor. Okay.
And then what are those?
Then we have leeks. So instead of using onions, we're gonna use leeks. Basically, it's the same family.
Yep.
Leek is an onion. Then we have some sage, some garlic,
Yeah. Oh, I love the smell of melted butter.
and we have a little bit of cayenne and a little bit of nutmeg.
And just throw it all in there after the butter
So
melts.
basically, we melt the butter. We just sweat the leeks for about a minute.
Okay.
We try not to get them too dark, like no color. Really, sweating is just keep it translucent.
Okay.
Okay. Then we would add our sage.
Okay.
We would add about a tablespoon of garlic, a little pinch of cayenne,
Got some kick.
a little bit, yeah, just to give it. It's not a spicy soup, but just a little kick of a little bit of cayenne and nutmeg. Okay. And then at this point,
Scrape it.
scrape the flesh off the skin. So you get that beautiful roasted squash flesh going into the pot. We do the same thing with the other one. Okay.
All right, keep doing that, Chef Bruno. We're gonna come back in the second segment and show you the finished product and how tasty it's gonna taste. And again, don't forget to check out the soup classes here at Sait's Culinary Campus. It is time for step 2 in the roasted butternut squash bisque.
That's right.
Chef Bruno and I are whipping up a storm this morning at Sait's Culinary Campus. So let's quickly recap what we already did to the squash.
Yeah, so basically we finished the squash bisque. So once you add the stock, you let the bisque simmer for about 10-15 minutes. Then you add about a cup of cream.
Yeah.
Let it simmer for another 5 minutes. And then blend the whole thing with a little hand blender. Or you can put it into a food processor or a bar blender. And then that's the end result. You have a nice, thick, creamy.
Can you use other ingredient other than cream? Like, can you do almond milk? Can you do?
Yeah, almond milk could work.
Okay.
If you could also leave the cream out. I mean, without the cream, it's not really gonna be a bisque,
Yeah.
but it'll still be a good soup.
Okay.
It'll basically be a puree, a vegetable puree.
Variation.
Yeah, and you can do the exact same thing without the cream, really.
Okay, so once we've got it boiling.
So now we have the soup done. So what I want you to do, we're gonna make a little garnish together to finish the soup, to go with the soup. So we have a little creme fraiche here in a bowl. So you're gonna grate a little bit of lemon zest.
Okay.
I'm gonna chop a little bit of fresh cilantro. And we're gonna make a lemon cilantro creme fraiche
Yum.
to garnish our beautiful squash bisque.
And you were saying don't, when you're grating the lemon, don't do it more than twice on the same side.
Yeah, the reason why you don't want to grate on the same spot for too long, it's because you get to the white part of the lemon, which is really bitter, so you just want to get the zest, just the yellow part.
Is that good?
Yeah, just a few more passes.
Okay.
And then we'll add a little bit of the cilantro, and I'll get you to whisk that together.
Okay. I love whisking.
There you go. And then we'll also have some roasted hazelnuts in that little container. So
And then this is the garnish, right?
this is
Correct?
the garnish. So
Okay.
the roasted hazelnut will go on the top at the very end to garnish the bisque. So we're gonna try to keep the plate clean. Yeah, just put that in the piping bag, please.
Okay. The piping bag.
The piping bag. You got a little spatula. Beautiful. And then I'm gonna pour the bisque into the bowl.
Yum.
Beautiful consistency. There you go. Very well.
I'll let you do the honors because
And
I
then-
squirted everywhere.
Basically, we're gonna pipe the cream
Okay.
onto the plate. So we're gonna cut it like a small hole. We don't want to cut it too big. Let's do a little practice run there.
Ooh.
That's good. And then we can basically,
And you can do any design you want, right?
yeah, you can do a little zigzag. You can do little dots. It's up to you, really.
Zigzags are fancy.
And we can finish it with our little toasted hazelnuts.
So fancy.
Et
Ta-da! So
Squash bisque with
can
creme
learn-
fraiche and roasted hazelnuts.
People can learn how to make this and the
Stracciatella soup.
Stracciatella soup. That's
Yeah,
it.
we have that class on the February the 17th here
Okay,
at Sait,
awesome.
at the Culinary Campus.
Head to Breakfast Television for more information.